It's May 17, 1944. Lieutenant Phil Adair, commander of a flight of Burma Banshees, sits in his Curtiss P-40. Its nose painted with a screaming skull, a symbol of fear and defiance. For aircraft, for men. One deadly mission: to bomb Japanese ground targets in the dense jungles of Burma. Adair grips the control stick and guides his fighter toward the sprawling green canopy below. Beneath the haze, gunfire flashes and explosions ripple through the jungle as American-trained Chinese troops clash with entrenched Japanese forces. Sweat trickles down his spine as he signals the attack run. "Steady, boys," he mutters. Behind him, his less experienced pilots form up, following his lead. On the ground, Japanese soldiers shield their eyes against the sun, squinting upward. The skull-faced planes descend like spirits of vengeance. Adair releases his payload. The bombs drop in perfect sequence. The jungle convulses in a series of thunderous eruptions. Pulling up hard, Adair's P-40 climbs at a 45-degree angle, the airframe shuddering. Then, in the dazzling sky above, specks of movement catch his eye. Fighters, too many. His stomach tightens. Oh, hell, zeros. To his left, his wingman O'Connor, known affectionately as Little Okie, is about to begin his own bombing run, unaware of the danger. Adair shoves his throttle forward and shouts into the radio. "Bandits! 11 o'clock high. 15 Japanese Zeros are diving in formation, 3 full flights. Curtiss P-40s versus the nimble Hayabuses of Japan." The odds are grim and Adair knows it. But his instinct kicks in. Leadership comes before fear. Little Okie, tanks and bombs off, get into those clouds. The sky begins to burn. O'Connor's bombs fall away cleanly, but his fuel tank jams. For Japanese fighters are already bearing down on him. "Come on, Okie," Adair mutters, banking toward the oncoming Zeros. O'Connor jerks his P-40 into a hard evasive turn, disappearing into a thick cloud bank. Adair watches as all 5 aircraft vanish into mist, then chaos erupts. The remaining Japanese planes fan out, pursuing the other 2 Americans. Adair's heart pounds as tracer fire flashes by. He pushes his plane into the clouds after O'Connor. The world outside dissolves into swirling gray. Instruments flicker. The radio hisses with static. When he bursts out the other side, silence. No Okie, no friendly planes. Only the oppressive hum of his own engine. Then movement. 4 Zeros glide across an open clearing. Adair angles toward them, lining up the lead plane. He fires a burst of tracers, but before he's in range, the Japanese formation veers away, vanishing into cloud. Damn it, he banks again, but more enemies appear. Another 4 Zeros closing fast. Adair steadies his breath. "All right, let's dance." He charges head-on. The first 3 peel off, but the 4th keeps coming. At the perfect moment, Adair squeezes the trigger. His tracers tear into the Zero. The aircraft explodes mid-air, debris spinning past his canopy. "Got you." But there's no time to celebrate. He dives back into the clouds, heart hammering. Through the murk, a green-painted Zero flashes by, close enough to make his plane shudder with its slipstream. Adair rolls over, hunts for altitude, and spots another enemy below. With cold precision, he drops behind and fires a deflection shot. The Zero's wing shears off and spirals downward in flames. 2 kills. But the fight's far from over. Adair banks sharply, breathing hard. Smoke curls from his cowling. His plane has taken hits. He's alone now, wounded, low on fuel, and deep over enemy territory. "Bamboo 2, comin'. Okie, you there?" Static answers him. The realization sinks in, his whole flight might be gone. Then his blood runs cold. 5 new Zeros appear on the horizon, heading straight for him. "Oh man," he mutters. "Not again." He dives, throttle full open, the P-40 trembling from the strain. Tracer rounds flash past his canopy like fireflies of death. He yanks hard on the stick, twisting through the air in a desperate spiral. The sky becomes a blur of metal, sunlight, and smoke. The Japanese fighters press their advantage, guns blazing. Adair pulls into a high G roll. The wings groan. The P-40's engine whines, the gauges dancing wildly. Suddenly, through the chaos, Adair spots salvation, or something close to it, a towering cloud bank, pierced by a jagged rock formation. It's risky, but risk is all that's left. "Come on, girl," he says to his plane, diving for cover. Bullets streak past as he plunges into the white wall. For several seconds, there's nothing, just turbulence and roaring wind. The rocks flash by, barely missing his wingtips. Then, open sky. Adair emerges on the far side, free of pursuit. His hands tremble. Still alive, he whispers. He turns north, toward home, Nagaguli Airfield. His P-40 rattles from damage and fuel's dangerously low. But the horizon, though empty, glows faintly with hope. He presses the radio again. "Bamboo 2, comin'. O'Connor, do you copy? Silence, then a faint signal crackles through the static. Bamboo leader, this is Bamboo 3, Tom Rogers. I'm circling above Sadia. Not sure I can land. Adair exhales sharply. Rogers? You're alive. He scans the sky, hoping for more voices. None. Then, through the haze, a flash of red, a familiar red-nosed P-40 limping northward. O'Connor, he breathes. You made it. He banks toward the wounded aircraft, closing the distance. Oki's plane looks terrible. Bullet holes riddle the fuselage. The belly tank still attached. Canopy shattered by a 20mm cannon shell. Inside, O'Connor slumps, blood soaking his flight suit. Hang in there, kid, Adair calls over the radio. You're still flying. O'Connor stirs, lifts his head through the red mist, and raises a weak hand, pointing to his dead instruments. But the engine hums, miraculously intact. Adair forms up beside him. The two battered planes turn north together, the jungle sprawling endlessly below. Minutes later, Roger's voice crackles again, panic barely hidden. I don't think my gear's gonna hold, Phil. Both tires look flat. Adair makes a quick decision. We'll bring you in, all three of us. He signals Oki to take the lead. His airspeed gauge still works and positions Roger's last, so his ruined tires will stop him first. The three scarred banshees descend in tight formation toward Nagaguli. Nice and steady, Adair murmurs. Bring her home. As they line up, he peels off to cover from above. One by one, the fighters touch down, Oki's P-40 bouncing hard but staying upright. Roger's aircraft skids to a rough, sliding halt. Adair circles once, then lands behind them. His heart finally eases as all three planes roll to a stop. They made it, almost. Adair throws open his canopy and leaps out, sprinting toward O'Connor's plane. The fuselage is scorched and torn, the propeller bent. He climbs onto the wing and peers inside. Oki's pale face turns toward him, barely conscious. You did it, Phil. He whispers. Adair shakes his head. We all did. Medics rush forward, lifting the wounded pilot from the cockpit. The full extent of his injuries is horrific. Shrapnel from the cannon shell has torn through his left side. As they carry him away, Adair stands motionless, the adrenaline ebbing into exhaustion. Nearby, Rogers and Martinez, somehow uninjured, are inspecting their planes. Rogers' P-40 looks like a sieve, riddled with over 100 bullet holes, yet it flew home. Martinez's aircraft, miraculously, is untouched. Adair looks skyward. The clouds are clearing, the sun bleeding orange over Burma, for planes went out. For came home, barely. Later, at the debrief, ground crewmen murmur in awe. That Adair's some pilot, one says. Did you hear he flipped his plane upside down dodging a rock? The legend begins to form even before the day ends. Adair shrugs it off, still haunted by Oki's injuries. He'll pull through, he says quietly, more to himself than anyone. The medics confirm later O'Connor will live, but the damage is lasting. He'll never fly again. Years later, those same wounds will take his life. Adair never forgets the sight of his red-nosed P-40 limping through the haze, a symbol of courage that refused to fall. For banshees, for survivors, the price of valor is never forgotten. In the weeks that followed, Lieutenant Phil Adair became something of a legend. Among the 80th Fighter Group, word of his aerial duel, alone against 15 Zeros, spread like wildfire. Pilots across the theater swapped stories. How he'd flown through clouds so dense they nearly tore his wings off. How he'd downed to enemy fighters in a single engagement. How he'd led his men home through sheer willpower. To Adair, though, there was no glory, only the memory of fire, smoke, and the young men who trusted him. Every mission after that, he carried Oki's name written on the inside of his glove. They said the Burma banshees flew like ghosts, their skull painted. Planes shrieking through jungle skies. Death and salvation in equal measure. But beneath the ferocity was brotherhood. Men who laughed, cursed, and risked everything together. When asked years later how he'd survived that day, Adair simply smiled. Luck, skill, and a stubborn airplane that didn't know when to quit. The official records would note to confirmed kills for May 17, 1944, but among the pilots who heard his story, the number didn't matter. What mattered was that 4 men took off, and 4 returned, battered, bloodied, but alive. And somewhere over Burma, where the jungle swallowed the echoes of war, the legend of the screaming skull fighters endures. A testament to courage against impossible odds. Watch this film, they'd say years later, and find out what it means to come home upside down. The Burma banshees still howl in memory, fierce, fearless, and unbroken.